games here, and don't mind me, I'm just enjoying a casual summer Friday at the office. You see, here at the Sharp Objects Factory, we pride ourselves on having a family environment, and that's why I got my Hawaiian shirt on and my shades. But a little word of advice. Do not forget to take your shades off when you go to the factory floor. I made that mistake before, and well, I don't want to talk about it. Let's just say this eye is made of glass. Hold up, I gotta take this. I'm sorry. Hello, this is Nick. You lost our best-selling model, the Invisiknife 5000, and later found it inside of your foot? Oh, it sounds like you should go to the hospital for that. Well, what do you think I'm gonna do about it? Well, hey, don't get personal. Bring my mother. Okay, fuck you too. Okay. Enjoy that new orifice in your foot. Hey. Fucking idiots everywhere. The job does get stressful. I love it, but it gets stressful. But once I see that warm summer sunshine beaming through my window, I sort of forget all about that stress. And I'm ready to sell more of the best stabbing and poking products on the market again. And at a good price too. And then after that, I get to enjoy some nice summer air outside of the office and go home and play some video games. If you follow this channel for over 10 years for some reason, you may have been subjected to 15-year-old me yapping about how much I love summer and how much I associated certain video games with it. It definitely helped that at that point in time, my only responsibilities during the summer were occasionally playing baseball, going to the public pool, and playing video games.
The summer is my favorite time of the year to play video games, in fact. This is all probably due to the fact that there isn't any of this place in. You all know the place I'm talking about.
And this total freedom led to me unleashing a top 10 games to play during the summer video onto the world, whether it wanted it or not. But even today, while having to spend so much time at the Sharp Objects Factory, it's one of my favorite times of the year. Just smelling that beautiful summer air or feeling a cool summer breeze brings back so many wonderful feelings. Earlier this year, I was showing my lovely girlfriend some of my old videos, and when we got to this one, it was bringing back so many old memories of both the time period of me making the video and of me playing the games I was talking about for the first time. Even though the video is old and it's just me at age 15 being a goober,
I love Pikachu with a passion. I'm just going to leave it at that.
I still cherish it because it perfectly captures that time period I was in. And it got me to thinking, what if I did this exact same video idea now, but with my modern top 10 games to play during the summer? This would give me an excuse to replay a bunch of games that I love, and it would also be interesting to compare my list now to the one 11 years ago. It would also give me a chance to reminisce and gush over old summer memories and some more modern ones that have happened since then. Now before I get started, the only rules that I have for this list are that I can only use one game per series, not counting spin-offs, and I had to have actually played the game during the summer at some point. This list is also very personal, so even though some of these games have things you normally associate with summer like sunny weather, bodies of water, and beaches, some of them are only on here because I just happened to play them during the summer and I'm nostalgic for them. The list also isn't necessarily in order of how much I like these games, as you'll see. It's more in order in how much I enjoy playing them during the summer and how much the memories I have of me playing them during the summer mean to me. It is a pretty loose ranking that is mainly based off of vibe, so I wouldn't take it super seriously if I were you. On top of all this, I tried to replay most of the single player games on this list this summer, which is why I am releasing this during late September. I could have just gotten enough footage to talk about them, but part of the fun for me was experiencing all of these games again, and it was a good excuse to replay some games that I haven't played for a while. With that all being said, I have a few honorable mentions. First off, shout out to Fishing Resort. This game would be perfect for the list, but I played it for my last video, and it was before the summer. As much as I love that game, I played it for like 40 hours for that video, so I've been playing some other games for the past few months instead. I hope that you can forgive me. I think in a few years it would make the list. Another one for me is Ys 8, which I actually played for the first time during this summer. It has a perfect atmosphere, setting, and music for this list, and I absolutely loved it, but when I played it I was cat sitting at my parents' house, so I recorded none of it. It is very possible that I make a video about this game on its own at some point, so I'll give it its flowers eventually. But that's enough yapping, let's get this list started.
Number 10, MLB The Show 11.
Like I said earlier, one of the main summer activities for me as a kid was playing and watching baseball. And I was obsessed with it, which you can see more of if you watch my baseball games video from like 4 years ago. So naturally, while watching a good amount of MLB baseball and playing it constantly, really poorly, I got the itch to play baseball video games. One of them being the MLB The Show series. The 10th spot on this list was up for grabs, but somewhere around the time of starting this video, I naturally felt the urge to play a baseball sim. The one I specifically popped into the old PS3 was MLB The Show 11, because this game came out around my peak MLB The Show playing days, and I didn't want to pay for a newer one. My favorite thing would be to do a fantasy draft and draft my own team, while also turning the salary cap off. And then I'd try to get the CPU to bite on as many bad trades as possible by drafting a million highly rated 40-year-old first basemen, and using them as trade bait. I knew all of the players during this era, so seeing everybody on different teams and getting to make my own overpowered team that you would never see in real life was incredibly fun to me. And then after that, I tried to play the whole season without simulating any of it to see what kind of stat lines I could get with the players. I never made it through an entire MLB season though, because that is 162 games, but many of my summer nights were spent playing multiple MLB The Show games. I even remember a lot of my favorite players to draft back then, and have them on my team that I created for this video. I also have this vivid memory of the day that the PS3 got moved from my parents' room to my room, and I got unrestricted access to it without anybody being able to stop me. The first game I popped in was MLB 11 The Show, and I did a massive home run derby with all the best players at the time. The sun was beaming through my windows, and I was just having the time of my life not being outside and hitting as many dingers as my heart desired in my own room. Playing this game today, I realize that I suck absolute ass at this game though. I'm horrible at waiting for pitches to be thrown in spots where I could actually hit them, and will constantly be swinging at stuff that I couldn't hope to hit, which caused me to hit the 3-pitch innings at some point. I was definitely better at it back then, but in the time I played it here, I lost all but one game on veteran difficulty, which is just not good. Unfortunately for the other team, when I'm down by enough runs, I got nothing to lose.
A nice sharp single there, and that plate's...
Still, there will be many more summers where I revisit it and possibly try to learn how to not be as awful at it, so it's worthy for the number 10 spot.
Number 9, Metroid Prime.
This one is in the exact same spot that it was on the list that I made when I was 15, and for pretty much the same reason. Metroid Prime is still my favorite single player game ever made, and I've played it at least once every year since I released this video. But my association of the game with summer is just much lower than everything else on this list. The areas don't really scream the summer season. The chilling but beautiful Phendrana drifts in the dry and mysterious Chozo ruins are incredible areas, but really have nothing to do with summer to me. Weirdly enough, the one that I associate the most with the summer is Town Overworld. There are definitely some random thunderstorms during the summer in Ohio, and I have memories of staring up at the rainy sky and listening to that majestic music while I heard the sound of the rain outside dripping on the roof. My favorite thing about this was always the smell of the rain emanating through my window afterwards. I also have memories of a childhood friend of mine getting this game, and would be in his basement playing through as much of it as possible before my parents came and picked me up. When I got home, I'd talk to him on the phone and try to help him through the game while I played it myself because I'd beaten it a few years prior. Guides were a thing at this point, but there was something a lot more fun about trying to give him hints to guide him through over the phone. I also just loved yapping to him about how immersive it was and how much I loved the atmosphere of the game, sort of like what I'm doing now. And these memories are something I'll always cherish because it was a very simple time. So despite this game not really screaming summer at me, it would feel wrong leaving it off this list due to the sheer amount of times I've played it and how formative those early experiences with my friend were on how much I love video games now. Now if I ever did a top 10 games to play during the winter, this might land pretty high. Oh, I'm trying to wink, but that's my glass eye.
Number 8, Oblivion.
Oblivion is another one that doesn't fit what you'd typically expect a game on this list to look like. The setting isn't exactly something that screams summer, but the bright and vibrant colors, clear blue skies, and incredible soundtracks do give it a warm feeling that is perfect for summer nights. But the main reason it's on here is that last summer this game sort of snuck up on me. I expected to play it for a little bit here and there while streaming it to a buddy of mine, but instead it ended up completely taking a hold of me and ended up being the main game that I played the whole summer season. I loved it so much that I made a whole 18-minute video about it. If you want to check my in-depth thoughts and experiences playing through this game, then go ahead and check that video out. Since that video, the more I've thought about that Oblivion playthrough, the more fondly I've looked back at it, even just a year after playing it. I'd get home from work every day, crack open the window, and I'd be as cozy as possible just playing this at my desk for a few hours. Now I admit I cheated a bit and used the footage from last year for this entry. The remake came out and I was going to do a playthrough with Commander Piss the White, but it didn't end up happening due to me starting this video in July. That playthrough certainly won't be my last summer Oblivion experience though, I'm sure.
Number 7, Chrono Trigger.
My first time playing this game was after my freshman year of college during a family vacation to the beach. I had my laptop there, and every time we went back to the room, I was grinding away at any chance I could get. And I was completely sucked in because it's fucking Chrono Trigger. It has one of the best soundtracks in any game ever made, the artwork and character designs are incredible, and the combat is simple but satisfying due to the real-time combat system and great sound design and animations. This is all exactly what I want in an RPG. And it's so incredibly paced that playing through it makes you feel like the time just melts away. I think at some point I was more interested in it than the beach itself, but I hadn't played it again until this video. And this time around I appreciated every aspect that I listed even more. I think I can safely say that this is in my top 5 video games of all time, and that I will be trying to play it every single year. But this vacation memory is the only reason that I associate it with the summer, which is why it's only at number 7. Like Oblivion, its presentation is bright and full of life with a lot of colors that pop out at you, but if I had to put these two games on the summer alignment chart, I'd say it's more summer neutral. Still, I strongly associate this game with playing something so masterful for the first time during a random beach vacation, so it personally deserves a spot here for me.
Number 6, Mario Super Sluggers.
A second baseball game on the list? I'm going to have to kill you for that, BB Games. Yes, despite all the threats and actions upon those threats that I will receive, I have to put Mario Super Sluggers on here. Not only is this one of my favorite multiplayer games ever made, but it is also one of the first games on this list about good games to play during the summer that fits the summer vibe perfectly. Mario Stadium is located right near the ocean, Yoshi Park takes place in a theme park, and Daisy Cruiser is literally on a cruise ship. And could you imagine spending a warm summer night at Wario Stadium and its surrounding areas, and just having the time of your life getting stabbed by a rogue Goomba and bleeding out on the concrete as you gaze upon the full moon for one last time? And the music that accompanies these stadiums is incredible and matches their upbeat tones. On top of this, it's become a multiplayer staple with my friends. The games are so back and forth, and you always see something new during every game. Multiplayer is hard as hell compared to playing against the AI though. You can throw some of the most busted pitches of all time with pitchers like Daisy and Waluigi. And like I've said in my previous baseball video, I have a long history of playing this game a ton, as a kid and a teenager just about every summer. I literally used the in-game pitching machine to convince myself that I was warming up for my actual baseball game, but it did not help and I still sucked. But man, did I visualize some great real-life hits as I hit routine fly balls to left field with Goomba. Also, speaking of the AI, I was playing another few games against it with random teams on the hardest difficulty, and I was winning every game handily as expected. I just booked a trip to Wario Stadium.
Number 5, Pokemon Channel.
I have quite the history of yapping to no end about this game on my channel. I have 2 videos dedicated solely to it, not including a video about it that I deleted, and it got an entry on my original top 10 games to play during the summer list, where I proceeded to relentlessly shit-talk it.
But seriously, this game sucks. There's nothing else to say about it.
If you want my more in-depth review of this game, check out my I Spend My Christmas in Pokemon channel video because that covers how I feel about it today. And listen, I understand why people don't like this. It's a children's game where you sit there and watch TV with a Pikachu that barged its way into your house. I mean, look at this shit. And don't get it twisted, I'm not trying to say that it's a better game than the games that came before it on this list, but in terms of nostalgic summer memories, this game is the absolute peak for me. When I think of the most rosy, nostalgia-tinted version of summer, I think of being like 10 years old, going to the local family video, and getting this game every single week. I'd then spend the day hitting wiffle balls in my backyard, or at the local pool before booting it up in the evening to just vibe out on Cobalt Coast, or in your in-game backyard. And the even crazier part is, I'd then get up super early to receive the real-time deliveries you'd get in the game. The way it works is that you can order things off of the Shop and Squirtle channel, and Delibird will deliver them the next day. And this was enough to get me out of bed as an 8-year-old. In real life, I'd try to get a few Pokemon plushies off of eBay each summer, and would shoot hoops outside until the mailman came with my actual Pokemon plush delivery, and I'd be incredibly hyped to get it. I essentially lived and breathed this game at that time, and because of that I've developed a love for it that will never go away. Eventually the next console generation came out, and the game went on sale at Family Video and my parents got it for me. This is possibly the most priceless game in my collection, and I still try to pop it in every summer just to make all those memories flood back. This summer was no different, and to this day I feel snug as a bug in a rug while playing it. This is why it easily deserves the number 5 spot on this list.
Number 4, Dark Cloud.
We go from a game that I first played when I was like 8 to a game that I first played when I was around 20. First off, if you want my in-depth thoughts on it, I've made a video about this one as well. But long story short, it was the summer of either 2018 or 2019. I can't even remember at this point because the 2020s and my old age have ruined my sense of what year is what. But I was on summer break during college and didn't really have that much I had to do. The Christmas prior, I had ordered this game with an Amazon gift card that I received because one of my favorite YouTubers made me want to play it. And on one fateful, warm and calm summer night, I decided to pop this into my childhood PS2 and give it a shot finally. The game booted up and I didn't know what to expect. Sure, I had heard some good things about it, but I wasn't sure how it would hold up as somebody playing it for the first time in the late 2010s. This uneasiness continued through the opening cutscene, which is admittedly a little bit silly. I then went into the first dungeon and the game's controls and camera took a little bit getting used to. Even though it has Z targeting like Zelda, it definitely felt easier to throw the camera out of whack than it would with a Zelda game. And there were so many different mechanics, like all of the different weapon stats, keeping your character hydrated, and figuring out what I needed to do on each floor to progress, that I was feeling overwhelmed and still a little unsure of how I felt about this game. But I continued through a few more floors and things started to click for me. The controls started to make sense. I didn't completely understand the weapons, but I was starting to figure it out more, and I was getting the hang of how the inventory management worked. Then I made it to this game's town building aspect. I started laying out my town while being accompanied by the incredible Norune Village theme, while interacting with many charming and funny characters that I've saved from the depths of the dungeon. The nights are silent, except for the sounds of the birds chirping and the fires of the torches crackling. And I kept playing and playing through floor after floor while figuring out more and more as I played. I started to love trying to find the best path to go through the randomized dungeon layout to get what I needed. I started to get addicted to the weapon leveling system, and on the fly trying to build my weapon up with the optimal stats. And my own version of Norune Village had so much charm and heart to it, and when I'd take a break from the dungeon I'd feel at complete peace. I could spend as much time as I wanted here enjoying its atmosphere before I decided to go back. The next thing I knew I was already on the dungeon boss, but I was met with a familiar sound, the birds chirping. I had stayed up until almost 6 AM playing this. This is the magic of Dark Cloud to me. And to this day, no other single player game quite hooks me like this game does. And this memory describes many experiences I've had with it. I love the rest of the game as much as I loved the first night, and eventually I played it again for my video. I made this video during the summer too, and I had a fantastic time both replaying it and making that video and finally getting to talk about it. Fast forward to the playthrough for this video, and I was so hooked on the game again that all it took was one long weekend for me to beat the whole thing, and it was as good as ever. Also, I want to mention, I had some great memories with Dark Cloud 2 as well, and I might be planning a video for that next summer, hint hint.
Number 3, Final Fantasy X.
I played this one for the first time during a good time period of my life. I finished one of my final college semesters, and even though college was always super stressful, I could finally see the light at the end of the tunnel a little bit. So after finals were over, I was feeling good about everything and decided to pop in a game that I hadn't played before. Final Fantasy X. The only other Final Fantasy I had played up to this point was 6, which is incredible, but a very different style and time period, so I had no clue what to expect. I started up the PS2 and just paused to listen to that incredible opening theme. When I finally started the game, it immediately gripped me. A lot of RPGs start out a little bit slower and take some time to grow on me, which is completely fine. But Final Fantasy X immediately tosses you into the action with so much happening. You fight boss after boss and literally get sucked into a completely different universe. I honestly was so confused about what was going on, but it had me engaged the whole time. Then you finally wash up on Besaid Island, and the game gives you a chance to breathe while you're hit with one of the best songs in video game history. The water is such a vibrant blue, and the foliage is so lush and green that it just pops out. My first time in this area, I had to pause to just soak it all in. The whole rest of this first playthrough was just as incredible as this session, and filled with many other stunning environments and possibly the best soundtrack in any game. But I just can't get that first time washing up on Besaid Island out of my mind. This was the moment where it sunk in that I was about to play something really special, and it was perfect for the summer. Fast forward 4 or so years to this summer where I decided to play it again for this video, and for some reason I had a slight uneasiness that I wasn't going to hold up to my previous memories of it, due to that being an especially happy time in my life, and it being a solid 40-hour game for a video that I was already running late on. But I stuck with the plan of replaying everything but Oblivion, and let me tell you, I think I liked and appreciated this game even more this time around. I'd just get home from work, sink into my comfy bed where I have my PS2 and TV set up, and play for 2 to 3 hours most days. I further appreciated the story, characters, character design, and how much fun it was able to swap characters during the top-notch turn-based combat. The bosses are also fun as hell too, and some of the later ones are challenging enough to where I could come up with cool strategies to beat them and not just run through every single one. I could say that this playthrough solidified this as a top 10 game ever for me, and if you haven't played it, I would highly recommend doing so, especially if you have free time one beautiful summer.
Number 2, Ocarina of Time.
I have a huge history with playing Zelda games during the summer. I have fond memories of my first A Link to the Past playthrough, my first Twilight Princess playthrough, and even my first Skyward Sword playthrough. All of these games' lighthearted nature fit the summer feeling perfectly for me. On top of this, Wind Waker settings is probably one of the best possible summer settings for a game, being that it takes place on a giant cel-shaded ocean that you can sail to your heart's content on. But strangely enough, I feel like almost every playthrough I've had of that game was during the winter. Maybe it's because when it's getting dark outside at like 5 p.m, I want to play something that is the complete opposite of that. And Wind Waker fits the bill better than almost any game for that. Before playing this, I had previously played bits and pieces of A Link to the Past, but Ocarina of Time was the first Zelda game that absolutely blew me away. The charm of this game is just off the charts with incredible character designs who have all legitimately funny dialogue. On top of this, the art style is timeless, the dungeons each have their own unique and chilling atmosphere, and wandering around Hyrule Field with that incredible music just felt so good. I first played this when I was like 13 despite growing up in the GameCube era, but I had never really played anything like this up to this point. So this game ended up being very important for my video game taste and led me to eventually playing every single 3D Zelda. Every time I popped this bad boy into my N64, which was hooked up to a beautiful CRT in my parents' room next to a window where I could see the sun shining, I would feel at peace. I knew that this shit would be special to me forever, and it was a massive inspiration for me even starting a YouTube channel at that time. I wanted to poorly share my 13-year-old experiences of playing this game to everybody because I was so passionate about it. And here I am at 26 years old after many Ocarina of Time playthroughs, and I still love doing the same shit. This most recent playthrough for this video created some memories of its own. I was so excited for the Forest Temple, and one Friday night I stayed up until 2 AM, grinding out the whole thing at once, with my room only illuminated by my TV as the Forest Temple theme haunted me. When I got to the Water Temple, it was a lovely Sunday afternoon where I just sipped on coffee and enjoyed getting stuck in the Zelda dungeon as a grown-ass man. And every day that I played this game after work, it sort of just washed any day-to-day stress I had away. I enjoyed this playthrough as much as I did when I was 13, and that genuinely warms my heart. So even though I see other games of this series fitting this list perfectly, I have to put this here because I'm not sure how much of this list stays the same without me finding this game first.
Number 1. Super Mario Sunshine.
Over 10 years later, my number 1 hasn't changed. The competition for it is steep too. I've had many incredible summer experiences with Super Mario Galaxy, and I think it's my favorite in the series. If it wasn't for the 1 per series rule, I could see that being top 3 on the list. But I have to go with Super Mario Sunshine. It's the ultimate summer game, and I don't really feel like it's summer until I complete my annual playthrough for it. Otherwise, I'm just going through the motions like it's any other time. And I kind of forget what makes the season special to me. That's why when I started making this video in around July, I played this game first. It sort of set the tone for everything else to come. And I think the reason that I feel this way is a combination of the years and years of nostalgia that I have for this game, and Isle Delfino being such a perfect setting for the season. In each area I can run around and do nothing, while enjoying the upbeat and tropical music, and taking in the timeless art style. I mean, just look at this fucking water. And they have so many details in these areas that just scream summer vacation. Like the fruit bars in the little huts in Gelato Beach, the fruit stands in Delfino Plaza, and the casino in Serena Beach. And the color palette that they chose for every area just pops out so nicely and radiates summer vibes. On top of this, as I've discussed in my Screw Around Games 2 video, Mario is just so much fun to move around and do stupid shit with. You have so much freedom in how you can fling them across the screen, and it makes exploring these tropical settings that much more fun. The fact that this was number 1 on this same list when I was 15 means that at this point I was already playing it for years before that. At that time I played on my Wii, which was in the living room, so I'd just be in there for a few hours hogging the TV, running back and forth in Delfino Plaza, bonking Mario's head on every building. I'd also go over to my childhood friend's house and play it. I have this vivid memory of my dad picking me up after playing it for a few hours over there, and it just sunk into me how it was early June and I had the entire rest of my summer vacation laid before me. And here we are in 2025, and I still had the time of my life playing this game. When I first played it for this video, I decided to go to the same pool that I did when I was a kid, and it hadn't changed at all and I had a great time. And then when I got home, I played it for like 3 hours, and it's as fun as it was when I was a kid. When I finished it, it felt too soon and it made me want to revisit it after I finished this video just to spend as much time with it as possible. But this playthrough solidified it as my number 1 game to play during the summer, and if I made this list in another 10 years, I don't see this changing. And with that, here are my picks from the last video side by side with my current picks, and you can see that about half of these didn't change. Of the ones I left off though, Mario Kart 8 is a masterpiece and playing that at launch was great, but I think it being at number 2 was definitely because of the hype from when it came out, and I can't really blame my 15-year-old self for that. I strongly consider Pokemon Emerald for this list, but I don't have many memories of playing it during the summer. So even though the atmosphere and setting are perfect, I couldn't justify adding it. I also still like games like Grand Theft Auto 5 and F-Zero, but these being on here are definitely a product of me being 15 and not having a crazy amount of games that I had played to work with. On top of this, I was a coward and didn't add MLB The Show, even though it definitely should have been on here over one of these. I also didn't have the rule of 1 game per series, which led to me adding both Wind Waker and Ocarina of Time. It is interesting to me that I ranked Wind Waker ahead of Ocarina of Time back then, but decided to go with Ocarina of Time now. At that point, I don't think I had ever played Wind Waker during the summer, and I didn't foresee that it would randomly become a winter favorite of mine. My main takeaway though is that at this point, a lot of my favorites were already set in stone, and had a massive impact on my video game taste. Since then, they've only continued to grow on me, and 11 years later, I just have way more memories to work with, and my current list reflects that. I'm just glad I have this video as a time capsule to preserve that simpler time, and it will be interesting to see how this list changes another 11 years into the future. And hey look, all that yapping made the rest of the day at the Sharp Object Factory just fly by. Oh wait, I got an email. Let me check that shit real quick. guess I'll just respond to that one tomorrow. But I still feel so fulfilled after a long day of selling the best stabbing, poking, and piercing products on the market. And if you'll excuse me now, I've got to go home and enjoy one of the last summer days that we have left, and I know the best way to do it.